Otto was tortured beyond belief by North Korea. Before, and also with no evidence, a government official had told the New York Times that Otto had been repeatedly beaten. However, neither the hospital nor the coroner we consulted found any evidence of torture. But what was the cause of death?
Good evening. I hope that everybody was enjoying the verses, how black women can come to a situation between North Korea and Cincinnati, Ohio. There was a young guy by the name of Otto Warmbier, who was from Cincinnati, Ohio, and he took a trip. I want to say a school trip. He's originally from Wyoming, but somehow I guess he must went to a school in Cincinnati, or his family moved to Cincinnati. But he went on a trip to North Korea, and on his trip to North Korea, I guess there was like maybe a couple of days that he was there. He was they said that they saw a film of him grabbing a picture from a wall and actually trying to steal it. And then as a result of that, they took him in, they imprisoned him, and then he had to confess before a trial, to try to basically get free. Beg, they made him bow. I just wanted to discuss the things about North Korea that we need to understand. Is like, I thought with us being black and brown people that North Koreans would like at least black people, but I don't think that's the case. Power is power alone, and then also we need to take into consideration that nations alone have power. Nations within their entity have power. A lot of times people don't mix within their race when they have babies and stuff like that, because they believe that there's a stronger power within that unity. So can you imagine living in a dictatorship? The way the North Koreans march, it reminds me of how Hitler used to march. But can you imagine living in that type of atmosphere where they have full control of everything, even full control of your mind? And God bless the dead to Mr. Otto, who basically, was found guilty. He was sentenced to 15 years of imprisonment according to Wikipedia.com on June 12, 2017. Warmbier entered North Korea as a part of a guided tour group on December 29, 2015. So this is what really blew my mind, is that when he was there, I guess it was under Trump's watch. And the thing is that while he was there, he did such a crime to live in that type of community and to see how they deal with crime. It's a little different than how America deals with crime, but I just like to investigate, and I like to look at and research, why people handle things and try to nip them in the bud. So it just really got me that these people were able to torture this young man and send him back with no sign or evidence that he's been completely tormented, completely put into a vegetable state. And so that's deep. To me, that's kind of like making a little bit nervous, because you don't know what people are capable of for power. And so I just wanted to explain that this young man, he came personally from Ohio, so that was like made me want to really look at the story, made me really pay attention to the story, and how we need to pay attention to the countries outside of America that really look at America as fools at this point, especially when people don't realize when Trump got into office, He has a mental condition. And so if you have this mental condition, you're kind of like double-minded.
There's us all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You don't want to be double-minded and unstable by saying you're one thing and then you're another. So Trump basically was with this family, and then he turned his back on them and decided to make amends with the North Korean president, and said, the man said he said he didn't know nothing about it, so we're not gonna worry about it. But he was like having those two those parents in the White House or wherever they were on Capitol Hill, and really showing them like, we're gonna get them, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. What I don't like about our country is that we put a price on education when we really need free education to be able to articulate the things that go on outside of the world as well as inside of the world, because we're not as articulate as them. If that was the case, when the guy came home, they timed it, whatever they did to him. I mean, I don't know. The people think that I think like James Bond. Sometimes I do think a little bit of a James Bond type of thing, but they did something to make him go from this to there, and that's terrible. But the way we responded, those parents responded, was like, we want revenge, we want to sue them, we want to do this. But what goes on behind the scenes is ultimately they couldn't get their son back. And something was done, I feel like, to where maybe the son maybe didn't take the picture, that he was set up some kind of way because of the beef that North Korea has with America. And it's over the fact because North Korea wants to have some sort of a power. And if America keeps sanctioning them and keep picking and pricking and saying, nah, you can't do this, you're going to get people that's going to come in power and say, try me. And they're watching your every move, and they're looking at your little brain, and they're understanding that you're not educated. And see, they was looking at an uneducated man in Trump. Everybody's like, well, yeah, he's a businessman, and he can do things for me, and this, and blase. But at the end of the day, he will leave you hanging, as he did poor Otto's parents. He left you hanging. So why do people are so focused on the ideology? That's why they don't want you to critically think. Is because if you critically think, you can discern. And if you can discern, then you're not dumb anymore, because you understand a lot of the things that's going on in the world. They don't want you to critically discern the things that are going on in the world. The power strip, the fact that they want the black people to remain slaves and animals in their coops and be chickens and go wow wow, you know what I'm saying? That's what they want us to do, and that's how most white people want us to remain. I don't want to talk about the white supremacy, but the white supremacy will make America look like idiots, because you're practicing white supremacy, and everybody knows that most of these countries don't like black people. Not even the Africans like their own black people, okay? They basically still sell black people overseas that people don't know about. They still put black people in oppression like they do here, like with the SARS and things like that. Black people against black people. See, it's because of power. Like, those people overseas can never have power until they reunite with the rest of their black people. But they depend on this idea. And so, as the Bible says, that we have to understand that these ideas are factual, that the biblical scriptures are coming to pass, that in fact that there will be a one world order, and that people are preparing themselves to do a one world order. The thing is, it also talks about that one part of it would fall off or come back. I don't know if that's America, and we'll get into Revelation and we'll start talking about Revelation. But America, we need to think about education. We need to understand how education is important when we have God-gift people who have God-gift minds that can, like my son, I'm going to put him out there. My 50-year-old son knows how to build ships, knows how to build magnificent things out of Legos. So in my mind, I feel like, please, son, I pray that you become some kind of an engineer, or you work for Wright Pat Air Force Base and you really build those ships, because we really need to have people that, if we don't think about racism and we think about working together, but y'all don't want to do that, because there's a lot of things that I would think will fall into reparations. One of them is ownership. We have to have ownership, concrete ownership of something. We have to have it just like y'all. I also want to, have topics about about us Jewish people, and what that means in the scriptures, and what we seeing today in modern day life about what we call Jewish. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure that the people of the Holocaust can relate to black people, because we have dealt with the same Holocaust. A Holocaust shouldn't relate to a race now, should it? Holocaust should relate to the genocide of a race. So, this is Alicia's Intellectual Talk, and we'll be back talking soon. But shout out to y'all. Peace.